shoot, I said that you claim it. It's that Xbox, spin the block, his legs slide. Fast talker, no riddling, moonwalking, selling moon rock just to make dividends. You in traffic with family? That much making a portrait. Gun kick back, not grannies from porches. David on the scene, you know that it's scorching. What's a man with king? No response to the saying, advancing the line, advancing the payment. You front the game and shoot, I said that you claim it.
You already know the time, told my boys to hold the line. We gon' shoot it out in seconds, leave you posted like a vine. Bow your head down to the king, leave your roses at the shrine. We stay ready for the war, just need the king to drop the sign. Say what you running from, what you running from. I'm with my team, we bleed green, that's what you wanted, huh? Say what you running from, what you running from. I'm with my team, we bleed green, that's what you wanted, huh? This what you wanted. This what you wanted, huh?
Peace and blessings, and welcome back to Xbox Frontline News with your boy, the King. Now, this wonderful Monday is what? It's a great holiday weekend. Memorial Day weekend is a fun time for friends and family and canoodling and loving your loved ones. I hope everyone got a chance to do so. And if you didn't get a chance to be around your loved ones, I hope you took a break to smell the roses and to smell the flowers and just reflect on how blessed you are. Listen, people, this Monday is apparently the start of the week, whatever you believe in. I believe Sunday is the start of the week. Some people believe Thursday is the start of the week. That is neither here nor there. But what I can say is if you got a chance to watch Iron Lord's podcast yesterday, I wasn't there, but I did leave some nuggets for you guys. And if you did watch it, then you understand exactly what Operation Stuffing with Glizzies is. Operation Stuffing with Glizzies is Microsoft's effort into stuffing, pause, the PlayStation fan base and the Nintendo fan base with all the unwanted glizzies that they said they didn't want, but secretly desired. And we see that Operation Stuffing with Glizzies is in full effect, pause, and is highly effective. With the announcement of Hellblade 2 going, we understand that it's going to be a power-packed summer with speculation, begging, screaming and crying, and hoping that your favorite game makes it to your favorite ecosystem. Listen, I can't continue to fight you because it makes no sense. Have you ever heard the phrase, the customer is always right? Well, you PlayStation ponies are customers, and I no longer want to fight with you. You're right. Whatever you say, you're right. As long as your money clears, you're valued here. There's not going to be a day where I'm going to fight with you because you're a customer and you help pay for all this wonderful stuff that all of Xbox elites get a chance to use, play, and enjoy. While you pay, we play. You know the wildest thing I was told the other day? That I'm a tourist in the gaming industry. Boy, I built this brick by brick. I built this. You will only hope to have a fraction of my gaming knowledge, my gaming experience, and my gaming in general. My compassion, my love for video games has transcended decades. Wipe your butt, learn how to pee straight, and clean the wetness behind your ears. Because you're wet behind the ears and your breath is smelling like Similac. Going against the king, you bet not miss. I missed a 98% right all the time. But enough about that. You're just a disgruntled customer. And how can I make it right for you? Cool. Take a glizzy on me. Pause. Let's get to these topics. It's about to get sick. Now, we all know that articles have to be written, and sometimes the most interesting articles are the most controversial. Articles that will have you stand on either side of the fence, one in favor and one opposed. It's always the yin or the yang. But what is particularly interesting about this article that I read, from The Gamer, I mean, if you can't see the articles that I'm pulling up and you can't read the ledger and the title, I don't know what's up with you. But again, the writing's on the wall. Gaming Insider thinks Xbox next console will be their last. That's quite possible. But his reasons for saying this is because, Xbox had a strange couple of years and basically shifted over to being a third-party publisher. Xbox has been a third-party publisher for a very long time now. A lot of people fail to include Mojang with Minecraft and the PC offerings. A lot of times, console manufacturers have to do a little bit different things in order to further the IP and to test different grounds in order to make revenue. We see that with Nintendo and mobile entries. I believe at some point they will diversify their portfolio and push forward. You see that with PlayStation launching games on Xbox itself and placing them on PC. Microsoft seems to be the most aggressive out of the console manufacturers due to the fact they have the financial backing and the infrastructure to facilitate these happenings. So I guess people not understanding or wanting traditional gaming to stay traditional really don't understand Microsoft's advantages with this business model. They were never taking full advantage of all the assets they had in front of them. The moment they do, individuals panic because change is uncomfortable for most. Remove yourself from the fire and always be a consumer. Look for the greatest advantage for yourself because these corporations will continue to look for the greatest advantage for them. Some people may be in for a treat. Gears of War Reloaded is seemingly going to get a beta released before the actual game release, which will make common sense. Anything of that nature should have a beta in order to gauge the stress of the multiplayer. So common sense dictates this to be true. And then you can look at people looking at Steam and having, I don't pre-order stuff on Steam. If it's a game that's in the Steam sale, I'll go get it. So my knowledge of how the Steam ecosystem actually works, even though I'm a part of it, is completely limited. So they do have something like a pen pal looks like listing, and I guess that outed the thought process when it comes to it going to be in beta. So will that allow us to actually see or produce and introduce FOMO? Yeah. It's absolutely necessary with an IP that you want to make sure hits in August. So this is kind of a nothing burger, a no-brainer, but now that we're getting concrete evidence showing the facts, I think people have a lot to look forward to. Now, a lot of you guys understand my absolute feelings on Limited Run, right? And Hellblade 2 is going to get a physical release on Xbox. but not done by Microsoft. Now, if anybody remembers before, Hellblade released digitally only into the Xbox ecosystem. And I felt at the time that limited a lot of Microsoft's selling capabilities of the game. But being that Microsoft and Xbox closed down a lot of their distribution and manufacturing plants when it came to disc media, you kind of understood if the game wasn't a surefire hit or wasn't a AAA title. Not saying that Hellblade isn't a AAA title, not saying that it's not a surefire hit. You guys know what I'm talking about as far as a big budget game goes. Hellblade didn't cost as much as like a Halo that needs marketing, distribution, and an allocated set funds for it to operate. Hellblade actually operated with the Game Pass model, pushing it forward, and also knowing that the Xbox customer prefers digital. If 80% of your fan base is digital, that means that your consumer base is majority digital. So looking at cost versus loss, you wouldn't manufacture a disc that will be sitting on store shelves. So now with the update coming out and hopefully the FOMO that is introduced around the game, those 20% that's on the Xbox ecosystem that was looking for Hellblade 2 physical, well, Limited Run has answered your prayers. So be on the lookout for that. Winning breeds contempt. You will learn that in this life. And if you don't, it's going to be a rough life for you. But Capcom winning has allowed them to believe that winning will continue. Capcom is just a few short years removed from absolute bankruptcy and, dare I say, foreclosure. Capcom must have forgot. I didn't forget. They oversaturated the market with their products from Resident Evil to other titles. And doing so pushed them at the brink. The quality of the games suffered dearly. And Capcom themselves had to go back to the drawing board to capture their old essence and get right back into the fight. With titles like Street Fighter V failing to reach critical mass because it was limited to the PlayStation ecosystem and never made it to the Xbox ecosystem, kind of stunted a fighting market which is niche within itself. Capcom made a series of blunders and mistakes in the recent past. And now because Monster Hunter Wilds sells 10 million copies within the first month, they feel that they're going to take their studios and expand. This level of quality came from consolidation in your infrastructure. This level of quality came from you knowing you were up against the wall and you needed to make a major change in the quality of your products. By expanding your studios and chasing the current money that you've posted with the smaller studios, you run the risk of repeating the past. Success. How do you quantify success? How do you repeat success? Repeating the process of success is continuing to refine the measures you've put in place that made you successful. Expansion before made Capcom less successful. By limiting their scope and focusing on individual titles to be the best that they can be, Capcom captured their old magic. It seems to me that they're going to be taught a very tough lesson. Do you think that Xbox and Microsoft are stupid for even allowing the Steam operating system on their device? Do you think that Microsoft and Xbox is being naive in letting what some may view as a competitor into their home? Have you looked at the recent trends where gamers are moving closer and closer to PCs, looking for that singular advantage that PCs may offer and the ownership prospects that these console manufacturers are limiting your ownership by the second? Steam operating system is pushed on all handheld devices right now. You can sideload Steam, and the operating system, if you don't want to use Windows, is an option for you. If the PC handhelds are doing it now, if the PC itself is allowing you to sideload Steam, and you know majority of PCs run off of Windows, why wouldn't Microsoft and Xbox, having the data, not allow you to have Steam? You see, a sale in the Microsoft ecosystem still equals a sale. I mean, reading this article, I guess it's finally starting to kick in with a lot of these journalists that Microsoft Next Xbox sounds like a PC. And, you know, some of these guys are championing this. Now, this wasn't the sentiment a mere couple of months ago. The mere couple of months ago was Xbox is done, Xbox is over, Xbox can't make it, Xbox won't succeed. And now people are realizing that the console market is shrinking. 21 million, to be exact, are not inside the console market ecosystem at the moment. And it's down year over year. Consoles aren't selling at the pace that they have in yesteryear due to various factors. Xbox and PlayStation, and to a lesser extent Nintendo, are going to look at different ways to expand, maintain, and flourish in this diminishing market. One of those flourishing points is to align yourself with probably the most viewed, you say, ecosystem on the PC when it comes to gaming, and that's Steam. Microsoft is very smart, very wise, and futurist. You always got to remember, Microsoft and Xbox has always been ahead, and they take the slings and arrows. But the industry winds up rounding out to face about the time everyone is acceptive of what Microsoft had proposed in the beginning. Connect anyone? Cameras everywhere. Always online, anyone? Always online, everywhere. You have to think about it this way. Microsoft has always been a trailblazer, a futurist, hard drives, Ethernet, things of this nature. When are you going to realize Microsoft has always been right, like myself, Mr. 98% right all the time? Zenless Zone Zero finally makes its debut onto the Xbox ecosystem June 6th. June 6th, you get a chance to have version 2.0 launching, and that starts season 2, and it coincides with the game official release on Xbox. Now, there's an extensive amount of new coverages when it comes to it, but again, you know, like I know, all you people that were waiting for Zenless Zone Zero to launch on the Xbox ecosystem is now in utopia. Here's the game that you've been looking for, waiting for, and asking for. And Microsoft, with its recent moves and expanding its demographic by a large 18% and expanding its console demographic by a large 8%, has shown promise when it comes to these games that has traditionally skipped the Xbox ecosystem. They find value in you, so you should take the chance and get Zenless Zone Zero on June 6th with version 2.0. Boy, you wonderful anime lovers. There was a rumor that the PlayStation would be, Sony would be dropping the price on PlayStation consoles, probably PlayStation Plus, or tweaking. I don't know about PlayStation Plus, but the consoles itself was supposed to be taking a price drop. Now, we do remember that they raised the prices on all consoles across the board. And then now they're giving you a price drop, dropping it back to its original price point. Okay. Now that we got the elephant out the room, PlayStation 5 Pro gets a price drop for the PlayStation days of play, plus all, other game discounts is about to happen. All right. How do we talk about something that is really a nothing burger? PlayStation has stocks of PlayStations in the US and abroad in a lot of warehouses. Now, these extra stocks, even before the tariffs even hit, PlayStation had a severe decline in console sales. For the most part, the PlayStation 5 Pro hasn't been moving. Their flagship device that offers superior game play and superior performance to the PlayStation 5 base. With the current rhetoric in the building at profitability, PlayStation makes the majority of their money off of console sales plus game sales. Their standard operation, if you will, is sell a console to sell games, to use your storefront to sell third-party games, allow the third-party games to keep you afloat and make third-party deals, then make it seem like they're exclusive to your console until your first-party games arrive. That inherent flaws has been noticeable this generation more so than the last. So this stands to reason that the PlayStation will give you a discount before raising the price and blaming tariffs. This way, they look like the good guy. They give you something, they do a spike in interest, people run out and purchase to a lesser extent. If you could get a 2% to a 3% boost in console sales, that equals revenue. Then you go back and turn around, raise the price, past the discount price, past the former price, to get to the price that you exactly wanted to be at when the tariffs hit. And then you can sell the majority of your consoles at a marked up value. If you fell for the banana in the tailpipe, I feel sorry for you. But I'm going to tell you, like I always tell you, these are corporations that are not inclined to give you anything. Now, we knew that these comparisons were going to be inevitable. The embarrassment, this is an embarrassment for Microsoft, and this is coming from Jez Corden from Windows Central. The Steam operating system seems to destroy Windows 11 on gaming performance, battery life, as well as usability. We knew this was going to happen, especially when Lenovo Go puts out a Lenovo Go S. Puts out a Steam operating system version and a Windows version. So specs-wise, it's completely the same machine with different operating systems, to the best of my knowledge. Cyberpunk, 59 frames per second on the Steam, 46 on Windows. Helldivers 2, 70 on Steam, 65 on Windows. Doom Eternal, 75, 66. Spider-Man 2, 63. That's the only thing that Windows beat him in, as 64 for Spider-Man. And The Witcher 3, 76 versus 66. Battery life. They beat him on battery life. Now, not making any excuses for Xbox's, Windows gaming. Absolute loss and trouncing to Steam. I always felt that Steam understood who Steam was. Microsoft never looked at Xbox as a cash cow, winning proposition, all bets are in. We always viewed them, our thoughts that Microsoft always viewed Xbox as a project. And now Xbox has shown, after they outsold Windows, that they are more than that. So I see it and they see it as they need to step this up. I think Windows 12 is going to be the iteration that integrates Xbox at a fundamental kernel to the operating system. Remember, right now, the gaming prospect of the Windows is tacked on. Windows is an operating system basically made for work. I can't make no excuses for it. While Steam's operating system is to do just that, game. Now, I know individuals are going to come for me. So, it's going to change. It's going to refine. It's going to get better. Always bet on greed. Always bet on the cash aspect of the situation. Xbox, Microsoft will take that to the next level because they want to be, when it comes to PC, and they understand the long road ahead is becoming the de facto when it comes to PC gaming. That within itself is an arduous task, not an impossible task. You first must make sure you're everywhere every gamer needs to be. Second, you must refine the techniques. Remember what I told you. You must, to continue your success, you must continue what you did and refine the process to make it more palatable. In the same breath, Jez went on to tell you that time for Xbox to get its flowers with Game Bar and Windows 11 is getting better. Realize this, he's going to be critical at the points where he needs to be critical, and he's going to give them flowers when he needs to give them flowers. But at this instant, right here, right there, it tells you the performance comparisons is night and day, basically. Oh, boy. What is going on with PlayStation? This is it. This is it. Your online plan is totally scrapped. You're screwed. You don't have games to put out because you put all your eggs into this basket over here. You restructured your infrastructure from the non-sustainable games that has categorized your brand as a AAA publishing company. There's no room for mid-tier. There's no room for anything less than. When you made these big budget games that sold in past generations, but in this generation, isn't cutting the mustard. Even last generation. That's the reason why you got so many remakes and remasters. Thank you, Mr. Shohei. Shohei-san. This is the problem. Your pivot came and you didn't stand 10 toes down. Now, this Bungie Marathon thing isn't on Sony. Bungie themselves was just a bad purchase, right? That part is on Sony. That part is on Jim Ryan. He's in a witness protection program. He's no longer here. Sony had to do a severe evaluation process because they were bleeding money from every studio. And when they got to Bungie, they realized that they had a high burn rate. That means that they spent more than they had coming in. And they barely probably made budget, if not made budget. Marathon has its own set of problems that is isolated from the cash cow, which is Destiny. Destiny had the same issues with stealing assets, stories, and things of its like. Some of that, got to say allegedly, and some part of it. But Marathon is facing the same scrutiny when it comes to them being up against the wall. The alpha test of Marathon wasn't received well. The public displays of Marathon wasn't received well. If you saw myself and Iron Lord's podcast actually talk about it, wasn't received well. So now we have the inevitability of this game being delayed, pushing it further out of the minds of gamers. This was the game that they never wanted to begin with. If you're a Bungie fan, you wanted Destiny 3. Marathon was forced upon you due to no fault of your own. And due to Bungie's faults, the warts are starting to show. Well, reportedly, Sony cancels all paid marketing plans for Marathon. Pulling the budget on something that sorely needs a budget is kind of the death knell. Sony is terrified of repeating Concord's failure. If they were to pull the plug on Concord before it released, yes, you would have lost the money that you spent in picking up the studio, the money that you used early on for marketing, the money that you use for making the game. But a bad product sticks in the minds of gamers all over. And morale for the company would have been different. Now with Bungie looking to repeat Concord's failures and Sony pulling paid marketing plans, seems that they learned their lesson from Concord. With all the cancels and consolidation going over at Sony, being that they are either running on budget or below budget, they're not as profitable as perceived. It's games like this that is going to further put the death knell into their ecosystem. And I know you've been waiting for it. Hashtag no PlayStation 6. I'm going to keep the boot on Kong's neck this whole generation. We're going to run it up on these bumps. I know you was waiting for it. Now you got it. With Fear Games having the ability to see all the games that is in their category, the top games, they choose to emulate Division and Fortnite to a lesser extent. It's reported that the game is super clunky and not fun. Fun factor is a huge thing when it comes to video games. Apparently, Haven Studios, due to Jade leaving and other disastrous things going over at Fear Games in Haven, the game won't come out until maybe next year, if at all. I'm betting on it never seeing the light of day like Marathon. It's better to lose what you put in now than to potentially lose more and tarnish the brand further. It is completely obvious PlayStation themselves cannot make live service games. And don't tell me about Helldivers, because they purchased that studio with it being operational. Don't tell me about Destiny 2, because they purchased Bungie with their game being operational. Anything that was made under Sony with Sony eyeballs on it has turned out to be a disastrous mess. Well, if you made it this far, I know you hit that like button. I know you subbed. And if you really love me, and why wouldn't you? You became a member. Now, members are the lifeblood of the channel. And I do things daily to make sure that you guys are looked after the best. Members keep the lights on. Like Sony. Sony's a member, right? They're the member of the Pay More Club. Let them pay more. Why not? You can afford it, right? You like to own your games. You smooth-brained individuals, King, Now, we said we won't talk bad about the customer, and we will consider the customer's feelings at all times. I apologize. I take that back, customer. You are not a smooth brain. You are not a low IQ individual. You're just different. And some people learn differently than others. Speaking about learning differently than others, Microsoft needs to learn to catch up to Steam. But I think with Windows 12, they're definitely going to catch up to Steam. That's the problem. Microsoft business strategy was separated into many different silos. And trying to take those silos and collaborate them into one big effort, the same way that they did Copilot, they like to tack stuff on. And then it becomes convoluted and it doesn't work well. And many resources are taken away from the initial plan. That's where you get bloat from, extra memory bleed, all these extra things. Now, listen, if you want to go to a computer channel, go to a computer channel and figure out all the technicalities when it comes to that. If you want to be at a gaming channel and if you love Xbox, well, you found the right place. I'm your new best friend. I'm the person that you didn't know that you need, but once you found me, you understood exactly where I was because you are where you need to be. You're valued here. As an Xbox gamer, you're part of the elite. You know in Game Pass where winners play and players come to win. We're different. Now, if you've seen anything that you like, please hit those buttons. Join us on Fridays where we have Fight Night Fridays. Now, that's on my sister channel. That's on Frontline Gaming Streams where we game on every console there. During the week, I stream. Go to that channel, sub. Soon we'll be monetized. Soon you could become a member. Soon we'll do different things. We'll set up tournaments. We give away cash prizes and consoles. The moment I'm monetized on there, I won't be stopped. I will continue to push forward for the Xbox community and for each and every last one of you subs. Thank you. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to tell you to do what I always do. Tonight, I do got an NDA game to play. But it was a little something that dropped inside Game Pass. And the king gots to get to it. Because I love me some Pitfall Harry. And I want to play Grand Prix. So I'm going to try to play the Game Pass.